Back to Brick Gaming YuGiOh, and today I got top 8 at OTS/YuGiOh Day event. This is for the remote duel qualifiers, and I may have not made it into the first or second place spot to get my invite to a remote duel tournament, but I did do amazing. Only lost one round with mutants, and mutants are nuts. They're nuts. So at my locals today we had well over 20 people. That might not sound like a lot, but my locals I go to has a lot of highly competitive players who have top YCSs, regionals, or even WCQs before, and it's not like your average local players who, oh yeah, I've been locals occasionally. Now I'm talking about like some of the best players I've ever met go to the locals I currently go to. So this was a pretty big deal for me to get top 8 there. My final record was X-1, one loss, one draw, whatever, who cares? I still got top 8. I still finished up around 5th or 6th overall, and this deck is super nuts. Now, a lot of people have been ignoring mutants, and I just can't believe it. Like, my whole issue with it is, like, number 1, the deck is busted. Number 2, you can play a whole bunch of anti-meta cards. And number 3, it shuts down the meta. Also, by the way, got this mat here. Just picked it up. Super cool mat. Really enjoy it. Really love the design of this mat, so I'm really happy with this pickup. It's signed by Nim. Now I'm going to get right into this deck profile. But before I do, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, it will mean a lot. All the support from all of you guys have meant a lot over the past year and a half, and I hope you guys continue to support the channel and get us to 400 subscribers. So let's get right into the deck profile. First off, I play 3 copies of M05. M05 is a really good card on some searches for a mutant monster, which just facilitates combos. Next, you can banish one card from your hand plus him as cost, and based upon it, you get a different monster. One of the big boys, so for a monster, you get Beast. For a spell, you get Mist, and for a trap, you get Arsenal. ST46 has the same exact effect, but instead goes for spells and traps. And you want to max out on these guys because they're your starter cards. They're actually the only starter cards in the deck that everyone agrees upon, and agrees upon the ratios for. So you have to play 3 of each, and it's just super, super good. Next, I'm going to get into the big boys. 2 beasts. You want to stick with 2 beasts. You want to see it. If you make 2 of these guys, you're looking pretty snazzy, you could say. Then play 2 copies of Arsenal. Arsenal is a monster banish, so this guy negates spells, which is nice. The guy banishes monster. No negate involved, but it does get rid of stuff on the field that usually you won't want to destroy, or stuff that can't be destroyed. So it's really nice. You can get rid of like a Golden Lord with this guy and feel pretty good about yourself. And then finally, 1 copy of Mist. I actually made this card today. It was kind of shocking. I made it twice against 2 back row decks today during the tournament, and this card just felt amazing. Like, I know that's not the best, and it only revolves around trap, so it's usually not really that great. But you can chain block Paleos with it, and also it's just really good. You get draw 2. You get draw 2. That's what matters. You get a draw 2. Easy. And then finally for the monster that is more of a banished target, which is Keystone. Keystone is really good for one reason. It doesn't matter if you're like shuffling stuff back into the deck from your banished unless it's super late game and you need to get your little boys back in there somehow. But when Keystone's banished, it goes back to your hand during the end phase. So it guarantees infinite negates each turn, or infinite resources each turn, as long as this guy keeps going back to your hand. So it's super, super nice. Then for the hand traps, 3 D-shifters. I did not see D-shifter once today. I did not see D-shifter once in my opening hand today. But it didn't even matter. This is how good the deck is, because normally, like, if you see D-shifter, you're looking pretty good, and usually you win the duel. But not saying D-shifter becomes an uphill battle. But today, I didn't even worry about it. D-shifter didn't even matter today. I was playing against really good decks, by the way, and D-shifters never really came up, and it was fine. You want to see it come up, and it was kind of felt like if I saw it, it would be a win more, but it's still a pretty good card, and you have to play 3, of course. But besides that, not seeing it, that's perfectly fine. Then play 3 copies of Ash. Because you don't want your opponent to get searches off. I feel like this is just the most generic all-around card outside D-Shifter to hand trap your opponent. But this card also good in every deck still, and still puts in work. And once you get into my side deck, I do have specific hand traps to side out Ash for, in case it matters. Next, I play 3 copies of Pop Extravagance because you want to get those draws. Usually game 2 or game 3 you can side out 1 just because it's free to side out 1. But game 1 you want to see as much consistency as possible and just blow out your opponent game 1. Because in game 1, here's the thing, your opponent doesn't know what you're doing, and if you activate Extravagance, then most of the time they'll hit it, or if they don't hit, it's free. But by game 2 or 3, they aren't hitting Extravagance, and Extravagance is meh at that point. It's a card you want your opponent to hit. It's a card you purposefully have your opponent hit, and that's why you play 3, just so that, okay, cool, I have one little boy in hand and an Extravagance. So I'll force my opponent to hit Extravagance with Ash, and that can resolve my little boys. And that's kind of the idea or logic behind it. And then moving on, I play 3 copies of Evolution Lab. Evolution Lab, just super good. It special summons one of your little boys from your hand or banished on activation. All of your mutants gain 100 attack for each different name in your banish. Monster, spell, trap, whatever it is, you get 100 bonus. And then finally you can put one of your mutant monsters from your hand on the bottom of your deck and draw 1. This card was pretty decent today, pretty decent. Also, people usually didn't hit or get rid of it until it was too late and it didn't matter anymore. So that also felt good. And next, because we're playing real Yu-Gi-Oh here, and only real Yu-Gi-Oh players play the Mystic Mine and Terraforming. Mystic Mine today came up in 2 of my duels, and I sided it out in at least 1 of my duels. I just had to side it out. It did nothing, and I'll explain that once I get through the deck profile. I'll talk a little bit about some of my highlights for my matchups. But Mystic Mine overall was pretty decent across the board, and a lot of people had a hard time dealing with it, which felt good. And it also managed to allow me to snowball into so many cards that at that point I just had too many resources, and my opponent just really couldn't get out of that resource deficit once I decided to start playing again. So that's another reason I really like Mystic Mine. It resource deficits your opponent, and it gives you free resources. The ones your opponent doesn't have an out, and then it depends. Then on top of that, 1 emergency teleport. You just want to get to your guys faster. You want to see your boys. There's a total of 10 ways to get to your boys in this deck, but you still never see them. Unless, of course, you're very lucky, and yeah, but emergency teleport is another way to get to them. Then I play 1 copy of Myutant Fusion. Myutant Fusion did not come up today, I don't think. It might have come up once, but really wasn't an impactful card. But you still play 1 because sometimes it becomes really impactful and you just win duels because of it. Because everyone expects you to play Cry. Then I play 3 expansion. You want to get to your little boys, and it's also free protection. And then protection does matter. It does matter because there's so many decks right now that just destroy itself with card effects. Like, let's say you're playing against Shaddolls, which I played against. I played against Shaddol, Dogmatica, Invoked. Well, basically, you've probably seen the deck list before, but basically the standard version of that. And they ran into one of my big boys with a construct trying to destroy it, and I just activated expansion and it was fine. It was fine because then they just took damage, and I was like, cool, you take damage, and I am feeling fine. So, it came up. Then I played 3 copies of Mutant Cry. Mutant Cry is also very, very strong. Super, super good. I almost made the mistake a couple times that this card is specifically in the main phase, and I had to remember that. It has to be activated in the main phase, and I kept on almost missing that. But luckily, I got caught every single time before I made a misplay, and would have lost because of my misplay. But I caught every single time, and this card's super good. It puts all your resources back into your deck to fusion summon. Then for the generic traps, I played 3 Imperm. Imperm just generically good. And then 2 Punishment, because Punishment is busted. It's busted. And then finally, 1 copy Macro. I also did not see Macro once during the... Well, actually I saw it once, but it got popped immediately, so it had no impact on the duel. So that's kind of funny. I saw less D-shifters than Macro today. So that's whatever. I still did well, so whatever. I don't even need it. Now going on to the extra deck, I play a total of 3 copies of Ultimus because you're going to banish it a lot off of Extravagance and you want to have it. I made Ultimus once today, which is actually kind of funny, and I made it against well, I'll talk about in a minute, but I made against Domain Monarchs, which was a weird matchup. Then I play, oh, and also this guy's an Omni Negate, just by the way, just as I know, he's a 3,500 attack Omni Negate, and when he's destroyed, he gets up to 3 of your mutant cards from your banish to your hand, so, you know, fair and balanced. It just takes forever to get him onto the board. Then I play 3 copies of Synthesis. This card is really good. It pops on summon, and it can change itself to monster, spell, or trap, and is unaffected by that type of card for the rest of the turn. This one's the easiest to make, and you want to make this one the most. And as long as you have 1 or 2 copies of this guy off of Extravagance, you infinite loop this guy. Just infinite loop him forever. And that's, of course, in tandem with 1 Ultimus. But, you know, it's fine. Then I'm going to get into the rest of it. 3 Elder Entity Norden, or not Norden. Norden's banned. I can't use Norden. That card's banned. No, 3 Elder Entity Nitsis. Nitsis is actually really good. I played against Dogmatica Shadal, as I mentioned today, and oh god, Nitsis was pretty hilarious. They resolved that one lady, the one that sends 2 from the extra deck, and I happened to have 2 Nitsises in my extra deck at the time, and I'm like, cool, blow up your field, and completely changed the game. Completely changed the direction of the game, and I managed to get back into the game, so it was really cool. And then, of course, 1 copy of Chimera Flesia. This card comes up occasionally. I really like it, but it only comes up occasionally. And the reason being is that it searches for a fusion, so it can add more resources to your hand. And it can also facilitate summoning out Mist more easier during like the 2nd or 3rd turn. So that's nice, but overall it's still pretty average. It's a really average card. So I still think that you could switch out with Phoenix, but hey, I like it, so I'm going to leave it in. Then 2 copies of Dingirsu. I cut number 38 because number 38 does nothing. Come on, 1 spell negate right now, what am I going to be playing against? Just Sky Strikers all day? No! I didn't play against Sky Strikers once, so I was like thinking Dingirsu is a better option. It's free protection, it's a send on summon, and if your opponent tries to destroy it or any of your cards, you're perfectly fine. Like, let's say your opponent has 2 monsters that they can't get off the field, and you have Mystic Mine and Dingirsu. Even if they draw into Twin Twister or whatever, they can't out it because Dingirsu's on the field. And I saw a very lacking number of Cosmics today. I only played against 1 person side decking or even main decking Cosmics today, and it was simply nuts. I'm like, why is no one playing Cosmics? Like, I don't play Cosmics in this deck because I don't need to play Cosmics, and it's not an issue for me. But for like a lot of the meta decks, I feel like Cosmic or like Twin Twisters are amazing options. So I have no idea, but Dingirsu was up today. It helped out. Then 1 copy of Interblast in there. I did not make this card today. I made it in the past quite a bit, but I just didn't get into a specific scenario where I needed to make it. And since I didn't need to make it, I did not make it. But it's still a really good card. It banishes something from anywhere once per turn. Stops once per turn. I don't know if you're ever going to make 2, but if you could, you can just start banishing all of your opponent's stuff. And this really helps out with removing cards that you can't normally deal with. And it also helps facilitate a more game-winning advantage. So it's really nice. And then, of course, 1 true king of all calamities. Definitely will not get banned on the ban list. Oh no, this card cannot get banned whatsoever. This card's fair, it's fun, and in the OCG, it's known as the Very Fun Dragon, aka VFD. But no, this card is nuts. If you make this card, play it, because literally you just sack your opponent with it every single time you make it. It feels amazing. Now I'm going to move on to side deck. I side decked 3 Nibiru. So that was kind of based upon both locals, like how my locals usually go, expectations of how, like, what people would play, and finally based upon what my main deck and the rest of my side deck looked like. So I didn't main it, I sided it, because you want to leave your field open just in case, and Nibiru doesn't allow you to do that. So I sided it. I only sided against 1 player and I didn't see it, so it didn't really matter. I did not really play against combo today, and because I didn't really play against combo and Nibiru, didn't really matter. But if I was going to do like another event, like let's say theoretically if there was like a regional YCS in a different state, I would definitely be main decking Nibirus just to be safe, and I would probably change Mystic Mine to the side deck. You know, because of just all the combo decks that are running around, a lot of times Mystic Mind doesn't really matter against that, and Nibiru is a more impactful card. But based on what I know about my locals and know what I can do with this specific build, based on this specific build, I side decked Nibirus, and I called it right. It really didn't come up that much. And when it did, I didn't even see it, so it's fine. Then 3 Drolls. This is just really to prevent like Dragon Link and other decks like it from going too deep into their main deck. It really helps against Dogma or anything like that. I sided it in once today just because I really didn't need it all day because I play against a lot of weird decks. Like relevant decks, but weird decks. So I really didn't see Droll that much, but once again, it's a really good card. And I would recommend it for pretty much anyone. Then 2 Gamma Seal. Because Dragoon's still a thing and this deck just loses to Dragoon. And outside of that, the deck can at most play through 2 negates. And like playing against a combo deck or anything that really puts up negates on the board, Gamma Seal really just can change how that goes. So yeah. And then Gamma Seal's far, far removed cousin, Pankratops. Had to play Pankratops. Yeah, this card just is so good. It's always going to be good and it's just really good. Should I say more? And that's the monsters I cited. I cited a total of 9. 9. Then for the spells and all that other stuff. Wait, did I do this? Did I count this correctly? 1. So basically for the rest of it, I decided to kind of make it a bit interesting. So basically, for the rest of it, I ended up... Oh, wait, actually, I just realized I made a mistake. Pankratops was not in the side deck. Shh. Pretend you didn't notice that. I just realized... I was looking at my side deck. I'm like, wait, there's supposed to be 15, not 16. And I realized, oh, yeah, I didn't play Pankratops. Sorry, guys, that's my bad. I was messing around with the deck in between tournaments, and that's just my mistake there. But here we go. 2 Dark Rulers. Because, of course, you want to prevent your opponent from using monster effects, and you want to be able to destroy and out cards. 1 copy of Mystic Mind, because Mystic Mind is a fair and balanced card. 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster, because you don't want to deal with back row. And then finally for the traps, 3 evenly matched. And that is the entire deck. And then for my matchups today, I was able to play against... Well, first round I played against Monarchs. I think that's a highlight that I want to talk about very briefly. So in the Monarchs matchup, in game 1, he opened up perfectly fine and I got domain locked. And I was really worried about it. For about 30 seconds, I was worried about domain lock. And then I thought to myself, I don't really use the extra deck. And I was like, oh, I'm fine. And so, yeah, I got game 1 and game 2 very quickly. One of the other matchups I want to briefly mention is the deck that I lost to. And the deck I lost to today was, Prank Kids. I lost to Prank Kids. And before anyone gets on me and says, wait, you lost to Prank Kids? Prank Kids is a surprisingly good deck. Like, I had no outs to it except for, like, my side deck, Nibiru and Ash. But every single time you open up a pretty standard hand. And game 1, yeah, I didn't really, I wasn't able to really do anything game 1. And also, he would just ran me out of resources because I got hand trapped 3 times in the first turn. And then, game 2, game dos, I only opened big boys. And because I only opened big boys, I really couldn't do anything. Really couldn't do nothing. And so, yep, I ended up losing that one 2-0. But it's fine. I won every single other game, and I tied with a Dogmatica variant, which is fine because I got game 1, and then game 2 was really grindy. Both games were really grindy, and then game 2 just happened to have higher life points, so it was a draw. I was making a comeback. I evenly matched them mid-game after he cleared my board, and I had all my resources in hand. So I was like, cool, this is fine. And then I look up, and we have like a minute left. I'm like, oh, cool. So I made a short comeback, and then time was called. So, whatever. And, yeah, on top of that, that's pretty much how it went. I also played against Mystic Mind, just pure Mystic Mind, and I beat that deck 2-0. It didn't take very much effort. Like, no offense to the player or anything like that. They did perfectly fine as a player, but I thought it was going to be a harder matchup, and then I just realized that if I go first, so I won the dice roll game 1, and I just set up Beast plus Ash, and he just couldn't get to Mystic Mine game 1. And then game 2, he goes first. He sets up his board, but he had no field barrier, so I was like, cool, I'm just not going to even summon anything because he set a monster. And I guess the only monster he was playing main deck was Planet Pathfinder, I think, or like maybe he was playing some others, but that's the only one I ever saw. So he sets a Planet Pathfinder to his side of the field, and Mystic Mine's on the field. So I set my back row, right? I have the punishment in my back row, so I pass to him. He gets rid of the rest of his hand using, what is it? Right arm, left arm offering? And basically banishes the rest of his hand, and he searches for a field barrier. He activates field barrier, and this is the play that I'm never going to understand. I'm never going to understand this next play. He flips up Planet Pathfinder, and when he does so, I imperm. And I'm like, wait, why did I imperm? Well, obviously imperm will negate the effect, so that's whatever. But then I realized, oh yeah, he can just tribute off and then sell Mystic Mine. But he didn't. He didn't just tribute off. He left it on the field. So in the end phase, I activated punishment, blew up his Planet Pathfinder, and then I sent Nissus. And then used Nissus effect to blow up field barrier. Mystic Mine died, and then he was able to pretty much come back, knock him down super low life points. He top decked into nothing, and I won. Fair game. But yeah, it was fine. I got the Mystic Mine matchup super easy, like way easier than I thought. Once again, no offense to the player. I know that he watches his channel, but he did well. It was just kind of his deck let him down today. So yeah, that's basically my tournament report. I'm still can't believe that I made a mistake and accidentally have put a random Pinkertops in. And yeah, but overall, it was really good tournament today. I did really well. Top 8 once again. And yeah, so if you guys enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, I will highly recommend it, and I will see you all in the next video.